Hey, I'm shooting a quick video today on transmission line replacement in a 2020 Buick Envision with the 2-liter turbo. I don't know if it came with a different engine, but this one's got the 2-liter turbo. I wasn't planning on doing this, so I'm actually already done, but I'm going to give you a few pointers because it is a pain in the butt. This thing was in a collision, which is why it already needs transmission lines. It had one damaged in the front. So it came to me with a lot of the bodywork already off. So that's how you see it. I did not have to take all this off to do the job. However, it certainly made it easier. So a real quick rundown. Like I said, I've already completed the job, but here's the transmission cooler right up in the front. So usual quick connect fittings, pull the ring back, and then there's the little E-clip in there. Remove that. Then right here, there's a little clip that holds the lines up by the radiator. That's a push pin style. You pull this pin back and then the whole thing pops out of the radiator. And that's all you need to disconnect up front. I have the upper mounts off because I did a radiator in this thing also. So that gives me a little bit more movement there, makes things a little easier. And I actually cut the old lines to remove them, the metal part of it out the top and the rest of it out the bottom. So things got interesting because I thought, oh, I'm going to come underneath here. Here's the half of the lines that I took out. I thought I'm going to come underneath here and just quick disconnect these from the side of the transmission. Well, you can see the problem. You can't get to them. Well, you sort of can. But so there's a little bracket here, and all these brackets come on the new assembly. So this bracket here, there's a 10mm nut. Pop the wire harness out. I did unplug this from the transmission. That just made it a little easier. There's another 10mm right there. Pop that out on that bracket. And then we go back here. We'll see if I can get a good shot. So there's a 13mm nut that holds that clamp on the line. So that's actually pretty easy. I fed a wrench up through the back here, if you can see my hand. I fed a wrench up through the back and just took that off, not a problem. So the big problem is when it comes to that quick connect fitting up on top of the transmission that you can't really see, that was definitely a pain. So what I did for that is I had to come back up top, and when I put the new lines in, I fed them in, obviously whole this time. So I fed them in here. I fed the top up, fished it through to the radiator, got that hooked up, and then I was able to sneak the other line, the rearmost line. I was able to sneak the whole assembly. I mean, it's all one. I was able to sneak it up and do that. So that actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting. But the challenge in all this is up top. So I had to pull the battery out. I loosened up the battery tray. It's still attached to some wires, but that got me enough access to see it anyways from the top here. I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm even getting it on the video, but once I got in here, I was able to use a pick and pop the little E-clip off of the transmission fitting. But it is so recessed in there. You can see it is so recessed in there that once I popped the clip out and pulled the old line out, I couldn't get the clip back in. I just can't get my hand in there. So what I wound up doing is putting a socket on a ratchet and extracting the whole fitting, because the fitting just screws in there. So I had to extract the fitting, put the clip back in it, and then I could put the fitting back in, tighten the fitting back down. So that is the trick, is you can pop the E-clip off, but then you're gonna have to pull the fitting out of there, put the E-clip back in, screw the fitting back in, and then you can pop the line back in. And I used a pry bar. Once I had the line fed back in and lined up, I just put a pry bar right through here up against the frame rail and just give it the little push needed to pop it in. So that is how I did it. And I don't know if there's a better way. Can't imagine it. I don't know if there's a good way at all, but hopefully that'll help you hate yourself less and maybe hate your Envision a little bit less. And I'm not sure. I'm going to try and figure out, I'm sure there's other models that this applies to too, so I'll try and put those in the description. But yeah, hopefully that helps you on this crappy job.